Whatoplay presents the top 15 free Android and iOS games of January 2020. The Play score is an average of gamer and critic ratings. If a game only receives ratings from gamers but not from critics, it receives a gamer score. Opening our list is Idle Army Base. Idleness is the enemy of the soul, but not when it's Uncle Sam who's asking. In Idle Army Base, you get to manage the goings of your local army base, and your job is to get as many people into the patriotic spirit as possible. Beginning with a busload of recruits, you'll see them every step of the way, from their first lineup for signups to the push-ups they need to bulk up. The only thing is, the game gives players a slow start. There's not much money to improve things, and the snail's pace is pretty much like watching paint dry. If you want to speed things up, you'll have to pay up real cash. Not really much of a good deal, it's still made to the list with a gamer score of 8.80 on the iOS and 8.21 on the Android. Falling into the number 14 spot is Sort It 3D. As we discover from shows like Netflix's Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, sorting things into their most organized forms is Zen AF. This indie-made title exploits that fact. Instead of households and boxes though, you get balls and beakers. Put them into their color-coded places and roll through their many levels. The challenge doesn't change much throughout the game, but it always has that rewarding feeling of getting things done. However, it's still a free game, and sometimes it even interrupts you once you're getting into the heat of the sorting. It receives a gamer score of 8.80. Fighting into the number 13 spot is Stickman Battle. Ragdoll physics meets stick figures once more in this ultimate battle to be the best stick fighter in the comic universe. If you thought this was gonna be like any other stick game you've seen before, well, you're wrong. Because other than the sticky stuff we're used to, Stickman Battle also comes with various super skins that'll get you into the groove. Get into the high-flying combat as you soar and flail about as one of their many cool characters. It's a free game though, so you can't expect too much sophistication. And as a free game, expect a lot of ads if you want those sweet upgrades. It receives a gamer score of 8.80. And at number 12 is G.I. Joe, War on Cobra. There's always been two sides to a story. In this latest mobile game from the G.I. Joe series, you get to pick which side you're gunning for, whether it's the good guys or the bad. In terms of visuals and gameplay, War on Cobra definitely knows how to impress. It might not be the most original idea, but its strategy mechanics aren't just executed well, they also deliver it with sleek, modern-looking art style that makes you feel in control of the action. Where you might not feel in control though is their microtransactions. As a free game, energy and resources will run out quick, so you might have to get through long waits if you don't want to cough up cash for their starter bundles. It's still a good enough game to get out here though, with a gamer score of 8.80 on the iOS. At number 11 is Tap Tap Fish, Abyssrium Pole. Tapping games have a habit of getting a little too hectic. Abyssrium Pole, on the other hand, is determined to be the complete opposite. In it, you don't just get a tank, you get the whole place to yourself, complete with corals, fish, friends, and most especially, a cheery iceberg that asks philosophical questions, wondering things like, where would all my friends go if I disappeared out loud? So, it's dark like that, but it all just balances it out, thanks to its soothing atmosphere that draws you into its mesmerizing world. While microtransactions are the lifeblood of tapping games, this one gives you more than enough resources to enjoy it as it is. It receives gamer scores of 8.80 on both the Android and iOS. At number 10 is Dream League Soccer 2020. If you're ever itching for a new free football experience on the go, Dream League Soccer answers to all your needs with this latest installment.
The defender could be in trouble here. That's nicely played. Oh, he shoots! Oh, pick that one out.
Get your very own team and use your skills to guide them to the championships. For true blue soccer fans, it's kinda similar to your run-of-the-mill FIFA experience. But unlike FIFA, Dream League Soccer doesn't have the most optimized gameplay mechanics for the mobile. Instead of touches and swipes, its keypad system is more like the console counterparts that require a lot more precision than the smartphone can offer. It's also not as pretty in the graphics department. However, for this month at least, Dream League Soccer 20 is the best in the free football experience with a gamer score of 8.80 on the iOS and a gamer score of 7 on the Android. Writing itself down in the number 9 spot is Word Relax. Sometimes all a day needs is a cup of coffee and a word game that pays you back. Word Relax invites you to a world of vocabulary where your knowledge will get you closer to actual money.
Awesome.
It plays pretty like any other word game out there. The only difference is that for a set number of words found, you'll find your pockets just a tiny bit heavier. Of course, to balance out the system, you may have to sit through a bunch of ads to get even close to that $1 million dream. But if that's your thing, Word Relax comes highly recommended. Not available worldwide, it gets a gamer score of 8.80. The 8th spot belongs to Arknights. Here to represent the Japanese RPG this month is a game from YoStar Limited. At first glance, Arknights will win you over with the beauty of their Japanese art style expressed in the detail of their avatars, as well as their chibi forms in battle. And speaking of battle, they got loads to offer on that end too. Combining collective card game and tower defense into one, the game rewards you for the expert use of the characters they have on offer. Defend your base against the onslaught of enemies and live to play another day. A mobile with clearly so much to offer, this is not going to be the last we see of this game, with gamer scores of 8.80 on the Android and 8.79 on the iOS. 7th place is Epic Race 3D. The smartphone games market isn't always perfect. Sometimes we have remarkable additions that you can't believe is on the mobile, but sometimes we have the bare minimum. Epic Race 3D is an example of the latter. Clearly inspired by the likes of American Ninja Warrior, Epic Race 3D seems to have gone away with all the things that would have made it, more fun. For one, actual models instead of vague color blobs, and more gameplay than speeds and stops. It's a multiplayer game that does pit you with other people around the globe, but it's not really much of a competition.
Now, this is the hardest part. Whoever gets across here is going to win this. Luke is in trouble. All right, there we go. Go, 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 Luke, yes! Yes! Luke climbs up the wall. And a first place finish, nice job.
Perhaps as you get deeper and deeper into their gamut of epic races, it could get pretty heated. But it'll take you a while, and it has a ton of ads to get there. So it receives a gamer score of 8.80. Exploding to the number 6 spot is Mind Blast. For a free game, this next title actually has some potential. Mind Blast takes you to the underground world of gold and gemstones. Using your directional keys, dig deeper into the mines and collect as much treasures as you can using the dynamite sticks at your disposal. Even if it seems simple at first, the game will eventually challenge you to manage your resources and plan out the places and patterns of your kabooms. And on top of that, the retro graphics are cute too. If you hold out through the ads and the premium offer, Mind Blast is pretty good with gamer scores of 8.93 on the Android and 8.14 on the iOS. With our number 5 spot comes Flick Goal. Football with a dash of new flavor. Flick Goal appeals to anyone who's ever dreamed of being the next Wayne Rooney. All you have to do is swipe in the direction of the best goal spot and make it through each and every obstacle.
Let's see. Oh, he gets it! He hits it! Nice! What a shot!
You don't need exercise to be good at this game. Just draw the right lines and rake in the rewards of collecting coins along the way. It's another one of those simple games where the only investment is the time you spend watching ads. Not yet available in all countries, you may have to check the store yourself if you want a piece of the goal-kicking action. You received a gamer score of 9.17 on the Android. Here at number 4 we have Retro Bowl. Well, with the Super Bowl hype still going, our next game will get you ready for the thrill of the real-life fight by giving you your very own team to manage. Instead of just one aspect of American football, you get to make the choices for everything, from stadiums, staff, and of course, your all-time roster. But that doesn't mean you don't get to kick it either. In it, you also have a few snippets of the action in their signature retro form. Play the quarterback with the arms of steel, dodge the onslaught of tacklers, and line up your shots for those clutch field goals. Retro Bowl went for the minimal look, but it definitely has a lot to offer the casual American football fan, with a gamer score of 9.36 on the Android and 8.80 on the iOS. Counting down from 3 is Super Stick Fight Man. Stick fighters have been around since time immemorial, but this month's third best free title raises the stakes to super levels to stick it to the Stick Fight Man. Super Stick Fight Man is all about arcade enjoyment. Tap right and left to bring down the hordes of enemies and clear the waves to receive power-ups for the next big fight. It has a roguelike element to it too, as you battle to make it past all 30 stages or risk going to square one, arguably stronger and smarter than before. If you're in for a fun, action-packed game that'll give your hands a break from idleness, this one is a keeper with a gamer score of 9.71. Our number 2 spot belongs to Words Luck, Search, Spin, and Win. It's one thing to get a game absolutely free. It's another to have a game throw money at you. Words Luck isn't your ordinary word game. For the same brainpower needed to get through all the other word games on the market, our number 2 free title this month gives it all back one way or another. It's a game that's been described by reviewers as addictive, and that's probably because at its core, it's pretty much a gambling game. That means be very careful where you put your money. If you're aware of the risks, you can probably give it a try. Unfortunately, it's not available in every part of the globe. It gets a gamer score of 9.77. And the best free Android and iOS game this month is Grand Mountain Adventure, the only game that got a full-fledged play score this month. This month's best free game didn't just receive high marks from gamers, but from critics too. Getting that luxury ski holiday might only be a dream for most of us. Our first game this month, though, will give us that experience for absolutely free. Sure, you won't have the chilly weather and cute outfits, but at least it also spares your knees. Take on the rolling hills of the Alps and discover challenges that's hidden underneath all the white sleet. There will be some in-app purchases within the game, but it's mostly to offer all of the goodies that come with unlocking the full experience. It gets play scores of 8.56 on the iOS and 8.44 on the Android.